Hi moms, welcome to the Moms Who Made It YouTube channel. And for those of you that are new to our channel, I want to welcome you as well. And also inform you that this channel was created to inspire and encourage you guys. I wanted to bring you some former young moms who have took a step in your shoes once, but did not let that determine their future. And today they have made it, whether in their own businesses, climbing the corporate ladder. And through this channel, you're going to hear their real life stories and the journeys that they took to get to where they are today. So again, I want to welcome you to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, I'm your host, Nicole Green, founder of Motivating Young Moms. And so let's dive in and talk to Erika. So today we have Erika Griffin, the owner of Diamond Dial Hair Studio. So Erika was born and raised in Norristown, Pennsylvania, with a household of both parents, which at the time were married. Between the age of 8 and 9, her parents decided to divorce. Life was pretty good. When her parents divorced, she was greatly affected by it. She hid her emotions from everyone, but as we all know, things come out later, and some poor decisions came out in her life through dealing with men. After divorcing, her dad decided to move to Atlanta when she was about 11 years old. He remarried and also took her brother, whom she was extremely close to at the time, which absolutely crushed her. She remembered the night he left as if it was yesterday. She sat outside of her sister's grandma's house, which is where she was dropped off, and cried her eyes out. This was a pivotal moment in her life. In her mind at the age, without even realizing it, at the time she had made up that no one stays around or keeps their word. Also, that she wouldn't be hurt like that again, which of course wasn't healthy and caused many issues. Erika made poor decisions into her late 20s when it came to men and relationships. But then again, don't we all go through that? Which was the first of many mistakes, was becoming pregnant at the age of 18. She was just a kid. One thing she knew, she was not going to be a statistic. She had learned strength and hard work from her mom. She had a business mind, which attributes to her dad, who also burned in her brain as a kid that she could do anything she wanted, and which she believed it. She was a CNA as a means to provide for her and her daughter at the time. When she was a baby about 1 year old, she decided to pursue what she had went to school, trade school for. That was her passion for hairstyling. She stepped out on faith at the time and quit her job as a CNA and began to build her clientele as a stylist. Word of mouth and many clients later. Fast forward to 25 years of age. On July 27th of 2010, she opened the doors to her first hair salon, Diamond Dial Hair Studio. 8 years later, by the will of God and hard work, her salon is still here, still growing in the business of hairstyling. So let's welcome Erika Griffin.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you, Erika, so much for accepting my invitation to be interviewed and to dive into your personal past. Very emotional past for a lot of us.
Yes.
Having children at a young age and just going through that whole process of figuring out what we're gonna do with our baby.
Yes.
And with our life. Emotionally, physically, and more importantly, financially.
Right.
So did you have your baby at 18, or you found out you were pregnant at 18?
I actually found out I was pregnant at 17. She was born in April, and I turned 19 in August. So I gave birth at 18, but I found out at 17.
Gotcha. So your parents were divorced at the time, so your dad, did you inform him?
I was so embarrassed that my mom had to tell him that I was pregnant. I told my mom, but it took me a while to tell my mom I was pregnant. I knew my dad would be disappointed, but she told him, and he was disappointed. And he was in Atlanta at the time, so he wasn't here to give any comfort or anything like that. But my mom was a big support in the beginning of my pregnancy.
Oh, that's good. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it did.
Because again, we're dealing with all these emotions,
Right.
and the last thing we need is for the people that's closest to us to turn their backs on us.
Right. And I kind of feel like people automatically expect or assume once you become pregnant at a young age that it's a sign of failure, you know, and it is a huge, you know, life-changing event, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you have to or you are going to fail.
Right. And I think that many times, like, if you don't have the support, it can dictate the future. Because if you don't have support, whether they're going to be helping with babysitting or financially, like, that can really discourage a person.
Absolutely.
From trying to move forward. So you mentioned how you were determined, basically, you were not going to be a statistic.
Yes.
So when did that mindset come?
I want to say not even immediately, because thinking back immediately, I made up in my mind that I was going to keep the baby, that I was not going to get rid of the baby, regardless of who was going to be there, you know. And I had witnessed my mom be a single mom after she and my dad divorced, so I knew that it can be done from watching her be a single mom. You know, she didn't have any financial help or even much support as far as people watching us or things like that, but I knew that it could be done, so I did decide, you know, immediately that I was going to keep my baby. But I want to say maybe a few months after Jada was born, you know, and you're looking for that financial help, and then there's welfare, and there's all these things that, you know, I saw as a handicap. So that's when I made up in my mind that I'm not going to be on, you know, all kind of, you know, systems. No. I said it to me, I saw it immediately as a handicap, and that it will hold me back, and it will only make me comfortable instead of forcing me to be responsible.
Right.
So I made up in my mind, you know, I'm going to work hard, I will pay my own bills, and I will, you know, do what I can on my own to provide for her, you know.
So when you had your baby, you were out of high school?
Yes, I was fresh out of high school.
So you didn't really have to see the reactions of, like, teachers and a lot of your classmates?
No, and I did witness that in high school. So I can
it happens.
imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine.
I remember when I got pregnant, my math teacher, like, we had a really good relationship, and she was so disappointed in me. Like, she had her own dreams for me.
She saw your potential.
Yeah. So I mean, she didn't treat me any differently, but I could tell that her heart was, like, broken. Amongst, like, a lot of other people, but I feel like when you have those, your peers or those that are older than you, show that they're disappointed in this and that, that can, you know, damage your self-esteem a little bit.
It can. You know what it is? I feel like I wore the shame. Like, you wear that shame. I mean, the boy, he can go on with his life. Nobody really knows he has a baby on the way. Yeah. But you wear the shame. And I remember the whole 9 months I was pregnant with Jada, I did not go to church. I would not step foot in church.
Oh my God.
And I have a really good relationship with God. But I didn't even think about it until we just talked about it. Yeah. I would not step foot in church because I was embarrassed and afraid of what people would think.
And you know what is so crazy about that? It's the church.
Yeah, that's what's so
That should
bad
be the
about it.
safest place that you can go
Yeah.
to when you're dealing with all kinds of craziness in your life.
Yeah,
Like, you should be able to go to anybody in the church.
yeah. I didn't even think
and
about
not
it
be
until
judged.
just now. Yeah.
But that is like the first place where they will look at you
the
like
whole 9 months. Yeah. I went as soon as I had her. I went back with a baby, but I would not go pregnant. Yeah.
Was it because you felt like they would judge you or
Yeah.
treat you differently?
I didn't want to be looked at because, of course, I looked 18. Like, I looked like a kid. You know?
Yeah, you look like you're 18 right now.
So I was like, I am not. And they knew my mom, so they knew who I was, you know. And then here I come in here pregnant, so I was just too embarrassed. You wear the guilt and the shame.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, too, a part of me feeling like, I'll show y'all. Like, y'all will not label me as a statistic. Like, I feel like it catapulted me into being so driven that, I mean, it's just, until this day, like, it's still.
I was going to say that.
You never
it
stop.
stays with you.
Yeah, it stays with you. That is a life-changing.
And you don't even realize it, that it's still there.
Yeah.
I just know from having, like, conversations, like, with certain people. It could be your loved ones, or it could just be even strangers that recently heard about your history.
Right.
That will remind you of where you came from.
No matter how far you go. And that's something that I feel like you just have to get used to and just get tough skin and just become immune to the people that just want to see you for whatever mistakes you've made in life.
Yeah.
You know, there's some people that are only going to ever see you for the mistakes you have made.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just, I think, a part of life.
Unfortunately, I mean, no one is perfect.
Yeah.
And I think everybody at some point has, you know, the tendency to judge. Which is very unfortunate, especially when it comes to teenage mothers.
Yeah.
I think we've had teenage mothers from like early 1900s.
Right.
It's been happening forever. And even in some cultures, it's accepted. Like they want their women or their young ladies to get pregnant at 14 and 15. But it's like when even though you're young and you're pregnant, you're still young.
Yeah, you're still a kid.
And people forget that you're still a kid.
You are a kid. When I look back now in my 30s, I'm like, oh my God, I was a kid. You don't realize that even at 18, you are just a baby. You don't know what it is to raise a child. And, you know, having a 4-year-old now is it is night and day the way you see a toddler or a child and raising a child. So it's tough.
So let's fast forward a little bit. Getting through finding out you were pregnant, having Jada, and so you said 25 years old.
25,
you were a CNA at the time?
No.
Or is that when you made the decision for...
That's when I opened the salon. I want to say about 21 in 2005. Yeah, Jada was born in 2003. So 2005, I was about 21. And I decided that, and I was out on my own. I was paying my own bills at this time, and it was my first apartment. So, like, I'm just taking on the load of being an adult, you know, having to pay bills by myself. And her dad was in college, so he went off to a 4-year college. But I had been a CNA since 16. So I got certified at 16, and it's been a means of, you know, providing for myself. So I said, you know what, I'll just do this until I can go back, because I didn't have my license yet. To do hair. I had my hours and not my license. So I was a CNA. I finally decided I'm going to step out on faith, because this is not my life. I don't want to be 30 and be a CNA, or I just knew that wasn't for me, you know. So I quit my job and I just prayed. I was like, if you give me 2 clients a day, that's enough to pay the bills. Like, I'll be fine. Sure enough, you know, my sister at the time had a salon on DeKalb Street, and Tish. I have an older sister named Tish. She's also a hairstylist. Nice. And she had a salon at the time on DeKalb Street. So that was my first, or no, not technically my first, it was my second time in the salon. But it was my first time really being a hairstylist full time. So I went in, started to build a clientele. And I mean, things just took off from there. It was kind of like word of mouth, because at this time there was no
social media.
There was none of this. So you had nothing but word of mouth. And I mean, it just really took off for me. So from there, I was at a barbershop. I was in the back of a barbershop for 2 years.
Yeah, that's where we met.
I was at Ken Du's. And then, you know, being in the back of the barbershop, it really, like, it got so busy for me that I was like, you know what I'm paying, I could probably have my own salon. Started looking, happened to ride past this place, because it wasn't advertised anywhere. I just happened to ride past it. Called, the lady who owned it at the time was a saint. Like, she walked me through zoning, she walked me through all the technicalities of opening a business.
Okay.
And at 25, I opened the salon.
So let's just go back to when you, okay, so did you finish getting your license before you went to work in the salon?
I did.
Or did you do both at the same time?
So what they do is they give you something called a temporary license.
Okay.
So once you have all your hours, you have a temporary license, which you can work off of. So I had that, and I started working in 2005. I went back and took my state boards. So I had my hours. I just had to take the test. So I went and took my state boards, passed, and I got my license in 2005. So that was the first year. That was my first year out full time being a hairstylist, and like this being my livelihood, because it was scary, but you know.
So did you know the potential of like being a hairstylist or owning your own salon, what it would bring?
Honestly.
Or did you just say you needed the flexibility of being a hairstylist? So like, what made you, outside of your passion, because some of our passions don't pay the bills.
I know, that is true.
So
it was more so for me because of my makeup, and just I'm a very passionate person about anything. Anything I do, I have to absolutely love it, you know, or I cannot do it. So for me, it was, I knew I could not live the rest of my life getting up in the morning, going somewhere that I didn't really want to be just to pay the bills. I knew that there was a potential to have a great career as a hairstylist. You know, and I knew I had the skill. So there was the skill set, there was the potential, I had the education. So it's like, I have all the tools I need, I just need to step out on faith. That was it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it's time, you know, and I'm very spiritual. So I knew, you know, me praying about it, that it was just time, you know, like I knew it was time to step out on faith and get this thing going. And when you're young, I feel like you tend to be a little bit more fearless.
Yeah.
You're fearless that way. The older you get, it's harder and scarier.
You start to think, like, wait a minute, let me write this down.
You have more to lose. I had nothing to lose. You know, at 21, I had nothing to lose. What was the most that happened? I go back home, you know, and start again. 21, but, you know, at the time, you're just fearless, you're young, you have time on your side. So,
yeah, that's true.
You know, you can go and chase your dreams, even, you know, but you get older, you still do it. It's just tougher.
So in July 2010, you opened your own salon.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
You know what is so funny about, like, when you're an ambitious person, nothing's ever good enough. So no matter what you accomplish, you're always feeling like you could be doing better. So that was good enough for a little bit. And not to mention being 25, opening a business, most of my friends were still trying to figure out what they wanted to do with
because you were 25,
yeah,
right?
with their career.
Yeah.
So honestly, I went through like a weird time. Like, I was like happy, but then I'm like, well, nobody's doing you know, as well as me. So I feel like I don't even have anybody I can really enjoy this with. So I went through a mix of emotions and all of that stuff. But it was a very defining moment because my dad was big on you can do anything. Like he beat it in my head as a kid, and he did it so to the point where I believed it. Like I was like, I can do anything. Like I really believed him. So
that's awesome.
It proved his point. Like it proved it to me. Like if I really walk towards something and I try and really work hard, I can really do it. I can do anything. Yeah. Like it really just dawned on me. So it was like a pivotal point. That was a very pivotal point, especially at 25. Not to mention, Tanya Garnett was the first salon that I worked in. I was 17. This was before I got pregnant.
Okay.
Fresh out of high school, I didn't have any plans to go to college. I didn't have a plan at all. Nobody talked to me about the future. So I was kind of lost. Like I had no plan. So part of that is a big part of the reason, because I didn't see a future for myself, why I ended up pregnant.
So if anybody had asked you at 17, you would have been like, I don't know.
I would have been like, I do not know. I didn't know where I was. Fresh out of, I graduated. I had no plan. So because I had no plan, you don't have nothing to ruin. Now you're just, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was, and I had my hours fresh out of high school. But I went into a salon with Tanya, who was 25 when she opened her salon.
Wow.
So that was another thing I saw that I was like, it can be done, you know, and she was like one of my first mentors. So going into her salon at 17, still confused about what I wanted to do, you know, so I ended up leaving her salon, you know, and getting pregnant, and then the pregnancy kind of catapulted me into, all right, you have to do something.
Right, it's kind of, you have to figure something out.
Exactly.
Because it's not just you.
Exactly. Now it's like, okay, you have to be an adult. You have to figure out a plan. You decide what your plan is going to be. I was waiting for someone to give me a plan, like somebody, because you're used to that. You're coming out of high school, you're used to everybody giving you, okay, this is the next step.
Yeah.
But I figured out that no, you create those, you know, next steps, not somebody else, you know.
Well, that's how it should be.
Right. It should.
It should be that
way.
I know that I'm one of your clients, and I have to bring this up because I love this about you and about your personality. Like, you're a very caring individual. Yeah. And so, aside from your salon, like you've been trying to do, or you have been doing some things in the community as far as giving back. Can you shed some light on what those things are?
So a few of the things we've done are, last year we did a book bag drive where we actually bought the book bags. We didn't even do a drive because I didn't have time. So we purchased the book bags and the school supplies, and we gave back to anybody who's willing to come and who needed it. We've done something called Prom Dolls since I opened. Actually, I opened after prom in 2010, so we started in 2011. And Prom Dolls is where we do like makeup at a discounted price for the kids who come in and have their hair done. The last few years I've done the free prom makeover for kids who deserve to have a free prom, where we do the free makeup, free hair. We've also done the Valentine's Day makeover for a deserved men. Yeah, like so where the men can nominate their lady and we'll give them a free makeover. And now this year we want to do a toy drive. So we're going to collect toys and give it to the Toys for Tots Foundation. And we're going to go to their event. They're having one, it's like an event in Norristown that is being held. So we're going to take the toys there and give them away, whatever we collect.
Okay, awesome. So what is next for Diamond Doll Hair Studio? So are we getting a second salon? Are we getting a bigger building?
Yeah, so to be honest, because I've been like really just praying and been tight-lipped. I have a meeting tomorrow with someone to expand my business portfolio. So I am going into doing another business, which I'll probably end up announcing it like right after this interview. I told my sister and my mom
Does it have to do with hair?
It's in the beauty industry.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick to the beauty industry because this is what I know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many different avenues that you can go down in the beauty industry. So it's in the beauty industry, and it's just a step towards like being able to come from behind the chair and be more of a businesswoman, and you know, still do some styling, but not as much.
Yeah.
So because I have to get to the place where
working on the business and not in the business.
Exactly.
I learned that a year ago.
Yeah. Because you can't
do everything.
You can't do everything. And this is my passion, and it was the stepping stone to where I'm going. So, you know, this definitely laid the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so grateful for this, and I will probably always have, you know, some sort of a clientele. But it's time for me to definitely expand my horizons. And the only person that was holding me back was me, so I had to get out my own way. Yep.
Nobody else can tell you.
Nope.
You gotta figure it out.
You do.
Or decide on it yourself.
You do.
Because,
and you have to be ready.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta be ready.
And the time has to be right. So
right.
Not only do you have to be ready, but the time has to be right, and
yes.
yada yada yada.
Yes.
So, okay, Diamond Down Hair Studio, you have a hairline as well.
Yes. Yes.
When did that start?
So that was about 2015. It was just a natural evolution because most of what we do here is hair extensions.
Okay.
And you run into the issue of not having good hair, and good hair is everything, you know, has everything to do with the outcome of the
you mean the quality
of the hair? Yes.
Okay.
So I found a vendor, like I did some research, purchased some samples, and found a good vendor. So once I found a good vendor, I was like, you know what, I'll start carrying the hair here. And so I've been doing that for about like 3 years now. So that's starting to pick up, and a part of that is has a big part of what I'm getting ready to do. So.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to see the announcement. Yeah. So how old is your oldest one now?
Jada's 15.
And there's a little one.
And then there's a 4-year-old.
Yes. So what would you want your girls to learn from you?
I always try to get Jada to understand the value of herself. Self-worth has a lot to do with making poor decisions. A lot of times, if you don't understand what you're worth, you'll give yourself away for cheap, and you'll do stupid things and make poor decisions because you don't understand your worth. So my biggest thing is I teach them self-worth, and I really want them to have a good relationship with God, because that too will deter you from making poor choices. Yeah. So, and if you do that from a young age, hopefully, you know, we all make mistakes, but I hope it deters them.
Yeah. So what do you love most about your salon?
What I love most is people's reaction to the atmosphere. Like people, we always get, and I mean, I'm talking people from all walks of life. I'm talking all different ethnicities who come in here, and they all say the same thing, and that's that they love the vibe. That it's like a family, they don't feel like uncomfortable, you know, and that makes me so happy because we set the tone for that, you know, for them to feel comfortable and not feel, you know, like they're spending their money somewhere where it's not appreciated. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, and it's cute in here. So that definitely helps. Yeah. So, if you could like share some words of advice to our young mothers who are watching us, and specifically those that want to be a business owner or even own a hair salon, what is some things that you want to share with them? I guess encouraging words that you could share with them.
What I would say is, you know, we all, no matter what kind of mistake it is, we all make mistakes. We all are going to make bad choices at some point because no one is perfect. You just can't allow that to be the end. You know, it can be a roadblock, it can be a hurdle, but it cannot be the end. You know, and you choose whether you're going to allow it to make you greater or whether you're going to allow it to hold you back. You know, and you just have to let that be something that catapults you into greatness, because it's now a reason, you know, for you to do better, you know, and allow it to be a lesson, you know, and not a mistake you continue to make. But it's not the end, and, you know, things can only get better. Once you fail, you can only get back up. I feel like it's just, you know, how you choose to move on from that mistake.
Yeah. Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Today is Sunday, guys. And we all know that 9 times out of 10, a hair salon owner or a hairstylist, they are off on Sundays. So thank you for spending some of your Sunday with us on your day off.
Very therapeutic.
And away from your girls for a little bit. And just, you know, shedding some light on your journey. Yeah. You know, from not having a clue on what you were going to do to being a business owner. Yeah. Like, that is amazing. Yeah. So I applaud you.
Oh, thank you, Nicole. I applaud you too.
So tell everyone where they can find you.
So you guys can follow me at Diamond Doll Hair Studio _ between each word on Instagram. Facebook.com / Diamond Doll Hair 10. And we're on Twitter at Diamond Doll Hair 10.
And where can they call?
And you can call at 744-4063.
All right. Well, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and talk to you soon.